All right, man. Welcome back to episode number 2 of the Just Us podcast. I am Julio,
I am Renee.
and together we are just us.
Just us.
So I think for us, the best thing, the hardest thing, and what we learned from this week was football camps.
That was the first day to me. Oh my gosh. I was struggling, y'all. I was like them World Cup soccer players is coming over and they trying to get acclimated to the heat. I just had a bad day. They having a bad week trying to get adjusted to this heat.
So for all of the uninformed, right? All the football parents kind of understand what I'll be talking about here. But the first camp we took him to, which was his first football camp, was considered a mega camp, meaning there were a bunch of schools and different recruiters there. There was recruiters from FSU, from Hampton University, Kentucky, everything in between, Georgia. Everybody was out there this week. I think Georgia was there, but everybody was out there. It was a lot of kids. When you go to these camps, and this is what you got to get across to your kids, and I think our son DJ has learned this. It's a showcase, so you got to be him. Even if that's not you, you got to have a provider. When you get to the part where they're doing these one-on-one drills, you really got to be him, especially if you're playing what's considered a glamour position, running back, quarterback, wide receiver, them type, you got to be him. And we saw some stuff this week. I'll just leave it at that.
I will say for the ones who are not on the field as parents, bring your sunscreen, bring an umbrella, bring a stadium seat or
Lawn chair.
definitely snacks and hydration.
Do your research on how it's set up. I'll give you an example. Monday, we didn't necessarily need a lawn chair because they did have bleachers, so you could use both. Either the seat, we brought our seats, our stadium seats, but we could have used lawn chairs, and that actually probably would have been a lot better, along with an umbrella, because there was no shade for the most part that we could actually
It was
utilize.
hot that day. I'm talking about miserably hot.
So,
Like, yeah.
so yeah, that, and just be prepared to sit around because you're just there. So you're there to capture film for your kid and then just watch. Hey, that's really all you're doing. You're just sitting around talking to other parents and all the other good stuff. But it was definitely a learning lesson. We got something out of it. He got his last camp tomorrow. We're going to Georgia Tech. That one will be using lawn chairs. I already did my research. So what I saw was everybody was talking about the Madden cover with Caleb Williams and him having his fingernails painted and it be the end of the world for a lot of people. I just don't understand how that could affect you at home. But what I did see was a lot of people say that it was pushing off uh gay agendas on kids and stuff like that. And I'll just say I don't see it that way. I would never let entertainers raise my kids. Now they're going to be affected by certain stuff they see, but that's when parenting comes in and we have conversations. And regardless, I don't think fingernail painting is the worst thing in the world, although mine are not into it. I got two young men. It ain't for me. But if they want to do it, we'll have a conversation about it. Say, I'm just expressing myself. Keep it pushing. It don't make you less than a man.
Uh, I was sitting here thinking, like, I hope y'all don't have kids like that because y'all don't seem like the type that you gonna love your kids regardless of who they are and what they like and what they, how they want to present themselves. Like, that's not unconditional love, and people need to practice that a little bit more.
Cool. So y'all really killed me on that. What makes manly? Stop letting entertainers and TV raise your kids. How about y'all go raise your kids? Now are they gonna have some influence? Yeah, but if you doing your job, that stuff won't influence your kids. And then on top of it, I don't care if I actually had sons that decided they wanted to be gay.
I love my babies regardless.
Yeah. But you know
They
what?
could be a whole lot. Not saying that that's a bad thing. There's a whole lot of things that they could be that's horrible, and that's not one of them. That's just my
And the
thoughts.
funny thing is, I brought this up to my kids, just asking them, hey, had you seen this? And it didn't affect them one way or another. So y'all do what works in y'all house. This is just for us. Y'all need to stop looking down on all these different kids and stop being so
Y'all talking about
judgmental.
y'all Christians, but y'all judge a lot. That's all I'm saying.
And if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But quit acting like,
People don't know how to scroll or not comment. I'm just
I guess they
saying.
can say that, well, you should have kept scrolling, whatever. I'm just saying, if you want to tell me what's manly or whatever, cool. Give me better messengers. How about that? Not
All
a,
right.
yeah.
Well, sorry to cut you off, but moving along. On a, well, I can't say a not so bright note. The child verdict, I know that's probably been hitting y'all's feed as well. We're not surprised on how that went down. Definitely not surprised on people's reactions with, you don't have to support the Asian community and don't do come to the we gonna move the laundromats and don't wear Nikes and don't be coming to the nail salon because y'all talking about y'all want to boycott us. Well, do it then. Stuff like that. And it's not all Asians because, of course, we have Asian people in our family, Asian friends. So it's not just a one all. It's not everybody, but there is enough that we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff in reference to what happened. Another thing I saw is Chow last week allegedly had locked some young girls in his store and put hands on them allegedly, and he was having a altercation with them, and they were like, "Get off her." He's also chased some other people out his store. He's also shot at other people in the community allegedly. I do think in that state they definitely need to change some laws. I want to say the murder trials, you're not allowed to bring in previous evidence.
In South Carolina.
So
South Carolina, you can't bring in previous cases or
something like
something to that
incidents, I
extent.
guess, if you
Yeah.
want to say. So they definitely need to change that because none of that was able to be brought up in court. So
And that's a weird thing because you use that stuff to establish a pattern of a person. If you got a person, right, and they done this one thing 10 times and you can show that they done this, which means it's a pattern in their history, why would you not want to be able to bring that into court?
that's
Now,
crazy.
if it's not relevant, okay, cool, it's not relevant. But just to overall say, oh, we not going to bring in none of this stuff, that's one of the reasons on top of the racism of why he walked free and that family didn't get any justice at all. And speaking of not getting justice, I'm going to say I don't think the Carmelo Anthony or his family will get
Yeah.
justice in that situation because unfortunately, we as black folks in this country live more or less like by hope. We hope things go well. We hope the verdict comes out correctly. We hope these things, but we always in the back of our mind keep this ain't gonna work out for us.
And then he does not have a juror of his peers. They look nothing like him. And if the ones that I saw are the right jurors, they're not even his age range. Those are some older people.
And while I can understand, it doesn't mean that if I was on trial, and no, if I was on trial for something, everybody got to be a brown skinned man with a bald head and a beard. No, that's not my peers, but it need to look something like America's supposed to look, at least a melting pot of different people to say his peers, because his peers can be Indian, his peers could be Mexican, his peers could be white, his peers could be Puerto Rican, but a mixture of people, not just one thing, one demographic. That actually looks like you're trying to slant this a certain way. And you're making this a black versus white thing. And that's what it's really turned into when in fact those kids bullied him. And stuff keep coming out about those kids. One, they were bigger than Carmelo. Two, they had took jujitsu in the past, and if I understood it correctly, they've actually put hands on their own biological father. So it's not like these are the most calm or respectful young men. Because if you could put hands on your daddy, then come on, putting hands on a grown person, another person outside the house ain't a stretch. I'm just gonna be honest.
And from what I heard, they also edited his pictures. I think it was Fox, and they changed it to make it look like he had this perfect face when in reality he had scratches and whelps and stuff all over his neck and his face.
So I'll just say from this standpoint, right? I can't stand bullies. And Carmelo was getting bullied that day. And he did what a lot of us do at a certain point, get tired of getting bullied, or you done been through a bullying situation. You gonna go ahead and stand up for yourself. And a lot of times that means having something nearby and knowing I'm gonna pick this up and bust you and your stuff with it, right? And that's what he did. So I'm not mad at him for doing it. Matter of fact, here goes. If those kids wouldn't have walked in that tent and started bullying him because they didn't have a prior relationship like that,
I don't even think they were on the participating in the sport.
he was friends with somebody else in there, and he got invited into that tent by the other person. But anyways, I don't expect him to get justice. I hope he does. But unfortunately, I think he's going to get hit with some BS and have to serve time when clearly he was standing his ground. Like a lot of these racist people, like, oh, it's just George Zimmerman was just standing his ground. Well, Carmelo Anthony was really standing his ground. Now, I get it. South Carolina may not be a stand your ground state. I don't know, didn't look it up. And quite frankly, I don't care because I don't think anybody should have to retreat in order to protect themselves.
The one last thing with the child, the one that just kept just eating at me, is that little boy literally looks like a mix between our oldest and youngest son. Like he literally looks like he could be our son. The hair, the features, everything about him screams like that could have been literally, I mean, it really could have been one of our sons. Thank God it wasn't. But just his age, the way he looks, I just felt like I was looking at my son and it was just tearing me up.
And by the way, his name is Cyrus. So say his name. His name is Cyrus. So moving on, what else do we got going on today?
So today we're gonna talk about, let's start with roles and responsibilities.
All right, so the title of this episode is traditionally non-traditional. So that's what we're talking about. The traditional roles of, like they say on social media, the man got to pay all the bills, he provides, protects, and the woman takes care of the house. Those type of roles and responsibilities, right? So I think I jump in first with the thing that irritates me the most in life when I hear the statement and then the things that follow it. It'll say, if you're not a real woman or a real man, and then whatever this is, and I'll go with the first thing, right? You ain't a real man if you don't pay all the bills in the house. Well, first of all, there's no definition of what a real woman or real man is at all, especially this day and age when we can't really readily identify what a male and female is. There's definitely not a real man
You do what works for
or
you.
real
What
woman.
you need to do.
You know what works in your household? Give you an example. My grandfather was the type of man that would bring home his whole paycheck minus a couple dollars to get him some cigarettes and buy him his drink of choice. You know, he liked to drink. So that was his thing. And then my grandma would take care of the bills and put the rest up for whatever they did, right? I'm not doing it. I still protect and provide for my household. I'm still the head of the household. And this is just my take. Yes, she can speak. So I've heard this before we talking. It ain't that she can't speak right now. I'm just happen to be talking, right? Because they were like, look at her. She's sitting over there. She ain't quiet. Like he must touch her. No.
So my thing is, and it's funny because you say that, I am working on accepting help. I like to do everything and I like to do it myself. I like it done my way and when I want it done. So it is very hard for him to be like, hey, do you want me to cook dinner tonight? And I'm like, not that he can't cook because I ain't had baked beans in a minute, but I
And my
digress.
baked beans ain't just pork and beans
They're
in a
not.
can. I'm just
No,
going to let
they
you
are
know that. I don't
not.
even use pork and beans.
They
So
fancy.
they actually are really baked beans. What is it? Bush? That's what I normally go to. And then I add my ingredients, swirl it all in there together. I ain't giving away the ingredients. Put it all in there together, mix it up real good, and serve it. But
But yeah, so yeah, I'm working on accepting help. I'm like my mom, probably my dad too. I do not know how to sit still. I have to be sick. I'm talking about like throwing up and just like literally can't get out the bed. And yeah, because otherwise I don't really know how to sit still and really accept help. So I am working on that. So
and another thing, getting back to where I started with the paying bills and stuff in the house, right? All right, so in the way we did it with money, right? Because relationship is 100% from either person, right? And every day a person can't give 100%, but the money part, right? Just the paying bills part, we share basically a 50-50 model, more or less. Sometimes it's more than that, depending on how the other person's employment is going. And sometimes it's less, depending on how employment is going. I give you an example of what I mean. In our house, I take care of the whole mortgage. She takes care of the other bills in the house. Reason being that mortgage is so high, it more than equals out whatever she's gonna pay in our other bills. You can believe that
it's a
stuff.
lot. That's all I'm gonna say. But now the other things have picked up with gas and groceries and everything else. It damn near the same.
Like
Just saying. I'm saying
it's almost
it's
really a
like
50-50 thing, like real talk to the dollar 50-50.
because yeah. Whew.
But yeah, so that's what work in our house, right? And that don't gotta work in our kids' house. It ain't gotta work in your house, but that work what works for us. That's how we came to an agreement on how we would do this. Now I'll give you an example how it's changed over the years. Now, at one point, she had fully gotten to IT and I was interning in radio and working part time, and a majority of the money came in the house was under her. So she took on the majority of the bills, and she allowed me to do this internship. And I say allowed because she looked at me and said, I, I need you to do more, I would have had to do more. But she allowed me to do it because I wanted to pursue working in radio. So that's when she picked up the slack. But as soon as I actually, even in that moment, could make, when I started making more money, because I figured out how to hustle with the money part and do that at the same time, I looked at her and said, "Yeah, nah, I'll take this over. I'll do more here," and it eased up the load on her, and vice versa. I'll give you now. She doesn't like to ask for help at all. I'll I'll share what we right now, right? I'm literally just starting my severance journey. I literally just got laid off because they cut numbers at my job. It wasn't personal to my performance because my manager didn't even know I was being chopped at that day. They hit me and team to say, "Hey, can you join a meeting?" I'm like, "What do you mean meeting?" So I joined it. I'm in a room with people in a teams meeting I should never personally be one-on-one with, and within 5 minutes found out I was being walked out the door. So got the whole severance package and all that. Now she was already on being laid off for a while. That severance money to start drying up. And now she needed more help with her portion of what she would take care of the bills.
I don't like asking for help, y'all, because it's like you have a partner for for a reason. Y'all supposed to have each other's back, which we do. But again, with the I'd like to be independent, and I don't know if that's my love language, or I like to do stuff for people I care about, where it's cook, acts of service. Like I just like to give, right? So for me to have to ask for help is very hard, or to be like, hey, I'm your broke best friend, so this month I'm gonna need X amount of dollars so I can pay these
Yeah,
bills.
so she looked at me and she was like, "Hey," now I was sleepy, right? And she worded this in a long way.
I gave the exact amount.
She said, "I need 1,900
And $74.11.
that,
Because
right?"
I be remembering numbers.
And it did not translate to me in the moment that she needed $1,900 and change. I heard the 1,000, cool. I carried that nine over to the 90 spot and was
I
like
wish.
$1,090 and some change. So I went to thing. I was like, "What do you need?" And she said it. I said, "Well, no, I think I brought up. Oh, so you only need like $1,000, like $1,100." She was like, "No." I was like, "What?" And she said it again. Mind you, I'm just like coming out of a nap. I was like, "Ma'am,
He wants me to say 1900 and blah 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 blah. So
it sounds easier. One, it's easier to say.
because the way I can't help it. I deal with numbers like my for the past decade. It's not, we don't talk like that. We need exact numbers. Like I'm dealing with millions of dollars. It is to the T. That's how I'm used to talking.
So this is my thing. I said just say 1,900. We'll use
I
this
got it.
$76 and X cents. That's still the exact amount. It just like computes better when I'm coming out of being
People in the
asleep.
finance world know what I'm talking about. We be having to like, you can't be.
I
I'm
get
just
it
so
now.
it's habit.
I get it. I come from HRIT too. I get it.
I'm just saying I had to deal a lot. I was always dealing with money and numbers, so it was just habit.
But I will say it was the look on her face having to ask me for it. It looked like she was defeated asking me for it. I looked at her like she had lost her damn mind. I was like, I didn't care about thing. What do you need? Cool. Send that junk on junk. I need to know
I'm
because
making faces now because like I said, I'm working on it. For like, I'm so used to just doing stuff and being able to like, oh, let me do this, let me do that, or people coming to me, hey, can you help me out with this? And not necessarily like money wise, just like if it's technology or can you help me, look up this or whatever. So I'm just not used to this part of my life right now, and that includes having someone who's graduated. That includes when school starts and only having one person I'm taking to carpool. That includes only having one doggy now and not two. Being unemployed for this amount of time. Everything right now is just not normal. I'm like trying to like deal with life. It's just weird. I'm in that transition phase. So
and it was the look on her face that I had to like really stop. And I looked at her. I was like, "Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that S again. Don't ever do that stuff again. If this is what you need, let me know." All I had to do was figure out how to maneuver some money around out of different accounts I got, And then slide because I had another big bill that was getting ready to come up. So all right, cool. Slid the money and moved stuff around, right? But it was never a hesitation for me, and it'll never be a hesitation for me to take care of my house. But I also, if this is how I'm setting up for my bills, I just need to know so I know what to do and what I can't do with extra money that I got and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the biggest thing of getting her. And the thing is, she'll tell you, I've never not helped or been the one to come before that she even needs. Like you don't have to ever worry about asking me for something that you normally do yourself that you now need me to step in and do.
I know it's just weird for me. I'm just not used to like asking for help. I'm used to just like, all right, pay this, keep going, or do this, keep going. All right, I'm gonna cook. All right, I'm gonna do this. All right, I'm gonna clean this up today or do whatever. So it's just like I said, it's just hard for me
Yeah.
to accept help, whether it's helping me clean, help me cook, whatever it is. I accept the fact that it is hard for me to accept help.
And for the love of God, when it comes to this stuff on social media, we'll be married 17 years in a couple days. I remember.
Now, y'all know what happened off camera because he was like, couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. I had to remind him it's actually in
In a
the
couple
next couple
days.
days.
It's actually the next 7
We
days.
always forget. So, fun fact, we always forget. So, we're going to jump into the next topic because it just goes and it's like vacationing. So, there has been so many times where we have booked a vacation and they're like, oh, are you guys celebrating anything? And we're like, nah. Oh, wait a minute. We are. We got an anniversary. And literally, we will forget up until the point someone on the other end of the phone is saying, are you guys celebrating anything on this vacation?
Yeah, and the crazy part is the vacation will be booked for that.
For the
Anniversary.
yes.
I will literally be like, hey, early in the day, right? I'll call it, be like, hey, so when I get home, we'll look over the stuff and book our vacation for our anniversary tonight, right? Get home prior to booking this stuff, be like, hey, so we're gonna go ahead and so what do you think you want to go for the anniversary, right? Boom. Go to book and then have to call in for whatever reasons to talk to somebody about something, and I will forget why we're booking this in the first place because I just hear vacation. That's all I care about. The why specifically, I don't really care, but I do care enough to make sure we do special stuff on the vacation. It's just I forget why we're doing it.
Yeah, that is funny.
So
He's not allowed to book excursions on vacations anymore because he set me up.
I didn't set her up. I set up the whole family, and I didn't mean to do it because if I knew better, I would have did better.
He's like, yeah, we're going to ATV to the waterfalls. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds fun. We ATV. And then we hiked about 3 miles to the waterfall. And I had on my glasses. And they had to take them off, put them in a Ziploc bag. And I had to literally jump off cliffs blindly.
So, hey, so y'all know, for anybody that's cruised or vacation in a DR, it's that big waterfall. Well, I don't know if they got multiple, but there's a waterfall thing there that I know they do a lot of excursions out with certain companies down at that particular waterfall.
Yeah.
So,
and then you can't feel the bottom. And then people would snatch me up by my vest. I lost some braids. Mind you, that morning, I didn't really eat. They had rationed my bacon on this cruise. They gave me 4 slices of bacon and then took it back to just give me 3 back, which pissed me off.
They dropped it on the plate.
The grits was not good.
They just snatched it back.
The grits wasn't good. The only thing I ate was like bacon, toast, and maybe some orange juice. So mind you, I was hungry. I was dehydrated, and the incline hiking up that mountain, like it was just not good for me. I can laugh about it now, but yeah, it was not a pleasant experience for myself.
Is that the cruise? Isn't that the cruise where we took with all the families? Is that the same
I
cruise?
don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember because we took a lot, but I don't think that one was.
Okay.
I think that was before.
Because I was thinking about another. That was a Carnival cruise where they rationed the bacon. Hey, bro. So we've been on. We don't do Carnival, in the last 5 years as much as we probably did when we first started cruising. Our go-to for the last couple of years has been Norwegian, but they fell off too. But anyways, on this particular cruise that I'm thinking about, we were actually vacationing with a bunch of different families where all the kids were at the same time.
That probably was. Yeah.
So first night we on the cruise ship, very first night that we get on, right? All the adults or a couple of the adults are out at the comedy show. So me and my partner Gerard, we sitting down, and her and his wife Michelle is sitting they next to each other. So we just vibing, and the dude come around and take drink orders. So I said, you know what? Let me get a Long Island and instead of Coke, give me Sprite. If you've never tried a Long Island with Sprite instead of Coke, it's a different taste.
That's
It
good.
makes it feel like a different drink. So you should try it. In my opinion, very good. But you also need a person that knows how to make a Long Island, not that Long Island mix. Nah, you get a real Long Island.
A real bartender doing
So,
it.
anyways, dude looks at me. Mine is first night. He says, "Oh no, we out of Sprite." I looked at him like, "The f you mean we out of Sprite?" I was like, "Well, you know what? Then bump it. Just give me a regular Long Island with the Coke." Then fast forward a couple of days, right? We out. We stopped someplace, and I figure that they may, pick up some supplies there. So maybe they got some more sodas. So I go to the bar that night. Say, hey, I want to get a Long Island. He said, I told him, let me get it with a Sprite. He said, we don't have any. Cool, mind you, this is like 8 o'clock on a night where we dock someplace. They don't got it. I figured that'd be enough time to get it, so maybe they ain't get no more supplies. Fast forward the next day, we in the middle of the ocean. This ain't no docking day. Middle of the ocean, 2 in the afternoon. I'm at the bar getting me a drink. Guy says, what you want? At this point, I'm pissed because I haven't really been able to too many times get a drink the way I want it made, which my go-to is a Long Island with Sprite, not Coke. And I told him, I was like, well, I would like a Long Island with Sprite, but y'all ain't got none. He was like, what do you mean? Coming right up. I was like, where did y'all get this from? They was rationing Sprite and bacon. Like, how did...
Real quick, let me jump in because this is when we went with the whole family, right? So we would do, little comedy shows or whatever, and then late night we want to go get pizza, and then you be in line and you can ask for a whole pie or get slices. We likes to eat. They was sitting here looking at me crazy because I was ordering pies. I was like, let me get a pepperoni pie. I'm like, are y'all getting beat because we're ordering food?
And mind you, the pizzas are like the size of a little bit bigger than a personal pan pizza
Yeah.
from like Pizza Hut, right? So it's not like it's a lot. 4 slices and you done
Yeah,
killed the
you can
little
eat
pizza.
you can eat a pie
So
by
when she
yourself.
say a pie, she's literally asking for a
A
personal
personal
pan
pan.
pizza. And they act like it was the end of the world. Mind you, there are 4 of us. So when she asked for a pie, that's probably going to 2 of us. We need 2 of those things. Give us a cheese and a pepperoni, we good. Because ain't like y'all got everything we want. We'll take those.
But yeah, that trip was interesting. One of our interesting cruises. So
But yeah, so we don't subscribe to traditional roles. I don't think anybody does at this point. They just like to get on social media and say, "Oh, I need me a traditional man." No, you don't. You're lying, man. You don't want a traditional wife, like sir. You're lying because you hear stupid stuff like, "Oh, well, a woman need to get up at 3 in the morning and fix the man a sandwich." First of all, no, she don't. There's never been a time in the 18 plus years, almost nine, I think 19 plus years, almost 19, that we've known each other that I've ever looked at her and said, hey, you need to get up and make me a sandwich. It's 2, 3 in the morning. I've never looked at her and said, you need to make me a sandwich at any point, let alone 2, 3 in the morning. That's retarded. That's unrealistic. That's not a role.
it was funny because we just watched Wife Swap, and she gets up at,
5:30.
was it 5? And then she makes him lunch, and then she makes his coffee, and then she get like 3-4 hours of sleep because she'd cook and clean, take care of the kids. Dinner had to be done before he got home. So when he walked in, dinner should be done. Then after she did all that stuff, she didn't lay down with everybody else. She got back up, got on the computer. Then she had data entry job, and she'd work till 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes be back up at 5:30.
That was absolutely crazy. He was treating her like an indentured servant. So my thing is, and I think we both share this point of view, right? I know we do. Do it work in your house.
Yeah.
Stop looking at social media. You can look at for advice on certain stuff, right? They've been through it, cool, and then take from it what will work for you, and then keep the rest pushing. But like we don't have traditional roles in how we do it. And at no point, even the points where she made more money, because she was in IT long before I would ever touch that type of bag, right? She was in IT long before me, so it was a different type of bag the whole time. But at no point did I not feel like I was the leader of this household because we talk about stuff together, but she still will follow me, and certain stuff. I'm saying, okay, well, let's do this. Now she'll give me pushback, and it might not always work out. And then we're gonna have that come to Jesus meeting, be like, hey,
And it's not always just his decision. We communicate. Let's be
exactly.
clear,
Yeah,
because it kind of sounded like he said, "This is what we're gonna do." No,
I'm just saying for a
I'm very
decision we're making at that time.
opinionated.
Yeah.
He has an opinion. I have an opinion. We talk about it, and then we figure out, okay, this is what we should do.
We don't always do my side of the plan. We don't always do hers, but we'll sit there and come up with a common thing. Okay, we're gonna do this, and if it's not the way the other person wants, we'll always be like, okay, well, if this thing don't work out, we're gonna regroup, and we don't throw it in each other's face.
Oh, but we regrouping.
We regroup and we're gonna figure out something else, how to fix this thing that didn't work, that one of us led the other one into. So I've had my share of I got it right. I've had my share of that wasn't the best decision. She's had her share of she got it right. She's had her share of that wasn't the best decision. Go to your room now. What? Oh my
That
God.
was funny.
So yeah, what we really want to get across to people with anything that we talk about and subjects we cover is do what works best for you. We'll give you advice for situations we've been through. Take from it. If none of it works for you, keep it pushing. Maybe the next thing we say will work. Maybe none of it worked for you. But all I know is quit looking at all of social media and saying that's how we got to live, because it's not one way.
I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are not. A lot of people aren't really real on social media anyway. They're doing whatever they need to do for likes, for that monetary gain, which I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying some people are just playing the role. And you need to like, and they may be playing the role and some stuff makes sense. You're like, oh, you know what, let me try that. Actually gonna work for me. And then other times you might need to know, like, yeah, that's not realistic and that's definitely not gonna work, because it may work for some people and it may not work for you. So you got to make the best decision for yourself and your relationship and your household.
Yeah, because that whole, well, I'm going to pay all the bills and she going to keep all her money, that ain't going to work for me. Because at the end of the day, right?
You can see what hits his feed all the time, because I don't be seeing that. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
what ain't going to work for me, right? Because in those situations, when I hear that, I'm like, well, how does that man put up for retirement? And how does he able to put something up because if it don't work and they got to walk away? She's able to stack 5 years of paychecks. You over here done paid all your money out. You don't have nothing to just get out there, and now you got to operate by yourself, which looks different.
Y'all want to hear something funny? You hear how he sounds, right? He will be downstairs in the living room, and I know when he watching videos, because that's what I hear from upstairs. He be, you can hear him talking about the videos and narrating.
Yelling at my phone.
It's hilarious. So now y'all got a glimpse into what I be hearing while he's scrolling through social media.
And the reason she says that she hears me yelling because I don't type out if it's on Facebook, because Facebook you can actually do it. I do video response. I'm not typing out a paragraph. It's easier for me to say those 3 sentences than it is to sit there and just type this stuff. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. So that's how I think. That's how I operate in doing my replies and stuff. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up right here. But we just wanted to come on here and talk about our traditional and some of our quirky, non-traditional stuff and how we look at it. And we're sure there's more people out there that don't operate in what they consider an American traditional marriage, right? Because if you go to somewhere in Kenya or somewhere in Japan or somewhere in Puerto Rico or somewhere in Mexico or somewhere in the Netherlands, their traditions of how they handle marriage is going to look totally different. So we're speaking for American traditional marriage, right? And
for us.
how we operate, because this is just what we do, you know. But yeah, so you can catch us every Thursday. We will be dropping a new episode on YouTube at 6 p.m. That's the time we got set. And you can also catch us every Thursday on the Candy Store on Kiss 105.1 and 107.5. Did I say that right?
Yeah. Kiss 105.1, 107.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
It's out of Macon. So you can listen online. Or if you're in the local middle Georgia Macon area and you get Kiss 105, you got us. We got it just us Thursdays where we come on and talk about stuff. This week, we'll be talking about what did we talk about?
Dating and
Why you're married.
Yeah, why you're married.
Continuing to date.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in really quick before we wrap it up. So since we're talking about where you can follow us and reach us, you can reach us on YouTube. It's JUSUSPC. On Facebook, it's JUS space US space PC, and on IG JUS_US_PC.
And I just want to remind you, we're always authentic,
and we're always ourselves,
and we're always just us. All right, man. Till next time. Peace.